Hey y'all, it's Hot Rod here. So I want to do a video explaining like this truck project here to you. I'm sure a lot of you already know about it, and just wanted to give you an overview of how it happened. I've got some video coming up I'm going to post on it, and I'm going to talk with you in a minute, but let's just first talk about what it is and kind of get you acquainted with it if you don't already know. So what we have here is a 1939 Chevy truck. At this time, I have about 4,000 miles on it since I built it. I made the grill for it right here. Handmade the grill out of stainless. Now there is some changes and some weird things here. It's got 1940 fenders on it. It's got 1941 through 46 hood on it because that's what came with it. I had to modify it right here. And I had to add on down here, and you'll see that in the video. It's got a small block Chevy in it. It's got a small block Chevy 350. It's got aluminum heads on it, aluminum flywheel in it, backed by a T5 5-speed straight shift transmission. It's got a Holley 650 mechanical secondary carburetor on it. It's got a little bit of high compression pistons in it. It's got a full race flat tappet solid cam in it, meant for oval track, small oval track. So it's got some thump, fresh air intake here. I did run 1935 Chevy wire wheels on it. I used adapters. You'll see that in the video. Got Ford 1936 Ford wheels on the back. Again, I think I used an adapter. My buddy Jesse Sutton found these rear fenders for me. I was so fortunate about that. I painted it international white because I was looking for something, dare I say, bland and plain, because I want to put some lettering on the doors. So that's kind of the reasoning for the white, is so it would help my colors to pop for my signage colors I want to put on it. I used a new tailgate on it because I didn't want to afford an actual used one or even find one. I did the wood bed in it. Again, not trying to be super pretty. It's about utilitarian. Added a few little touches along the way, as you can see. Went with the colors like red oxide primer. The stripe is here because I was going with plain and simple. So let's go inside where it's warm. Let me talk to you about how this project came about to be. The inside here, I did the wood on the dash, not the steering wheel, but only the dash. Wood door panels, wood on top. You'll see all of this in my videos that I'm going to post on here, but I want to give you a quick look at it beforehand, just to see you, just to let you see the process of getting there. Used a seat from a third row seat from a newer model Chevy Suburban. They're very plentiful and they very affordable, and they fit really good. The rear bed sides, I drove down to around the Nashville, Tennessee area and bought those. I think the name was actually Pegram, Tennessee. I got those for like $150 for the pair. Those are actually for like a 47 through 53, 4 Chevy truck. But, you know, who's going to know? Who cares? And I got a wider bed because I did not want the traditional 1939 bed. It's like 45 inches, and I wanted to be able to get a full sheet of 4-foot plywood in the back because I want to haul it and use it some. Yeah, so let's go inside and talk about how this thing came to be. So I did retain the front axle, straight axle on it, and then I made the grill, used 47 through 53, 4 Chevy truck trim piece, and I made that to try to replicate kind of the original-ish. That's what I was going for, was an original-ish look without breaking the bank. Building it right in that shop, right there. Yeah, so let's go inside for the third time and talk about it. Oh yeah, another thing. I made this windshield frame while I'm thinking about it. Me and my friend Mike Abbott in Memphis, Tennessee, runs Steel Rose and Metal Co. Metal fab shop. He helped me build that frame. It's a one-piece frame. Works really good, so the window still tips out. I made the mirrors here, just arched some stainless, welded it up. I like the Ford Model A tail lights. There's just no denying it. So I opted to use those on this truck. I put a trailer hitch on it from, I think it's like a 2009 or something Nissan Frontier. Fit it really well for the stock frame. I put a Ford 9-inch axle in it. I replaced the fuel tank, which was originally underneath the front seat, and I put it back here, and I used like a 1970 Chevelle Monte Carlo gas tank for it. It fits it really well. Got about an inch clearance on each side of the frame. It doesn't hang down low, so you'll see that in the video as well. Added these little tail lights on it here, since I put a new wiring harness in it for my third brake lights. They do sell those, similar to those, that are made for that online. They're like $150. I am absolutely not paying that for them. So I went on Amazon and done some looking and found some running lights on there and kind of mounted them in my own way and added those on there. So that's kind of interesting. Did that for about less than $20. As you can see, put my own headliner in it right here. Made my wood strips for it, made all of that. Even made a wood back window frame for it. Because the 39 is a unique window frame and hard to find and expensive. Again, I'm not about spending a lot of money on this truck. I'm just not. So I made it out of mahogany. Used a street rod steering column in it. Used a connecting rod for the mount on the column. Got an old lawnmower choke for it for the carburetor. Works really, really well. Put a Speedway wiring harness in it. Got an old shifter that I found a Hurst that I modified, and you'll see in the video, made the mount or the shifter mount for underneath on the transmission. Worked out really, really well. Very happy with that. Got the dome lights here, right there, underneath there. Made a little wood cover there, so it kind of shields the, you know, like you don't get blinded from it, like if it'll focus. Well, I guess it won't. Anyway, tachometer there, little cubby hole up there. So anyway, for the fourth time, let's go talk about this thing, and I'll share with you. I'll post the videos up. They're not the best, but they're just what I got to work with. So let's go talk about this thing right here. All right, so where to begin? Try to make this quick and condensed for you. So, about 2000, around the year of 2000, I went down to Bowling Green and bought this straight axle for a front slingshot slingshot dragster, front engine slingshot dragster. I just bought it on a whim, brought it home, thought about it, and I had over the following years, I had plans to build some sort of rat rod out of it, like what to do with it. I thought about building a rat roddy kind of thing out of it and just be like a rear brake only car and use that front axle setup on the front, of it. Keeping it real lightweight, real simple, just a pure hot rod. And then I started thinking about, well, how would I do it? And I started thinking, well, I really need a firewall from like a Model T or something to kind of get it started, to kind of build from that out. Using some wood stuff on it, and then I thought I was going to leave it open top. And then I thought, well, I might put a little bed on the back of it. It's a little short bed so I can haul something, just your typical rat rod. And so that idea played in my mind for a solid 15 years. And it played in my mind for a solid 10 years. And then finally, about the last 5 or 6, 7 years, I kind of gave it up. I was like, it's never going to happen. I need to sell it. So it was in around November, middle of November of 2022. And a good friend of mine out of St. Louis, Thomas Sutton, he buys and sells automotive parts, used stuff. He goes to auctions all over. And he posted some pictures that he'd been down to Oklahoma, and he had came back with a load of truck parts, cabs, trucks, whole trucks. And he was going to go back on a second load. And he just kind of posted pictures of it. And I'm not knowing well enough to know he could probably be okay with me riding along. So I gave him a call and I said, hey, do you mind if I ride down with you on your second load? Yeah, sure, come on. So I went down there, and I'll post some pictures of this in the video of the yard where we were at. And it was in Miami, Oklahoma, and all these old trucks from this old salvage yard, Tom Meyer Auto Salvage, was there, and that was where the auction was. So he bought several truck cabs, parts, hoods, trucks. He bought a lot of stuff. So I went down on the first time with him, got some video. Didn't know exactly what I was going to do, just kind of shared this idea. But long story short as I can, he reignited this idea that I'd given up years ago about building a rat rod. Because I saw these truck cabs and I started thinking, that would be the way to go. If I was going to build this rod, I would use one of those truck cabs instead of like a Model T firewall, because then I would have at least a roof over it and maybe even doors on it, you know. Be very rat rod, and I'm okay with that. But that seemed like the way to go. So I was thinking about it all the way down and talking with him about it all the way back. So on our way back, he told me that he told me I would probably be more interested in his 39 Chevy that he brought back on the first load. So when I got back and looked at it, I thought about it, and it didn't take me but about 20 minutes to kind of visualize, think about what I was up against building a rat rod versus what he had to offer that was already done in this truck. Now, when I say already done, I mean, I say it carefully, because what I bought in that truck was very minimal. It was a frame, a cab, and that's all it was. There was no hood on it, no engine, no transmission, as you'll see in the pictures, what I started with. And I'm going to try to put this video up in chronological order of me building it from start to finish. I wished I had better video footage of it, but I don't, because I don't have anybody to help me do the video work. So I work on the truck, and when I find something that's kind of something I would discuss with somebody if they were in the shop, that's when I would do the video. Just to try to briefly explain to you all what my thought process is, how I did this, why I did this, and just a brief explanation of how it's done. When I had the original concept for this truck, I had absolutely no plans of building some kind of nice, shiny, showpiece, original, refurbished truck. In fact, it was a rat rod to start with. And he presented me with this 39 Chevy cab and frame that I thought is just that much already done that I don't have to engineer and figure out. So I'm going to go with this. And so when I drove home from St. Louis on that November day back to Kentucky, I rolled it in my mind, and I thought, well, I guess I bought me a truck, and that's going to be what I build. So in the end, I didn't even use that original front axle that I bought. I still have it. I need to sell it. And I didn't even use that. And my idea from what it started with slowly evolved and quickly changed in the last days in November 2022 to having a truck. And that's what I ended up with, as you've seen it previously in the video. I'm okay with it. I really am happy with it. You know, my goal was to just build a affordable, and I want to put total emphasis on affordable hot rod. I've already got a nice cruiser car, a 57 Chevy. I don't need another cruiser. I think every vehicle has its purpose, And for me, I wanted something I could kind of, hot dog up and down the street in. And that was really my main goal from the get-go with this, whether I built a rat rod or a truck. That was kind of on the agenda first and foremost all along. And so I had a small block Chevy that I had out in the shop. And you'll see pictures where I pulled it out. It was horribly dusty. Thinking I was going to use that. It really wasn't exactly what I wanted, but I thought, for being kind of free, it'll do. When I got it tore into, I realized I wanted to do some upgrades a little bit, but when I opened it up, I realized, to do those upgrades, I've seen that it needed a lot more work than I thought. So I just kind of stopped, regrouped, and I made it what I wanted it to be. I hot rodded it up and made it what I wanted it to be. So again, this was about using this stuff that I already had accumulated over the years, and what I had and what I bought from Thomas and Jesse that was affordable. I knew that the truck was rough. I knew the fenders were beat up, they'd been welded on. I knew it was rough, considering. I mean, really, in a way, considering it's a 39, it's in really good shape, because I did almost no body work on it at all. Other than on the front fenders, and I doctored that and I modified the hoods, as you'll see in the video. But I knew it was rough as for shiny standards, so there's no point in trying to make a silk's purse out of a sow's ear, and I knew this. So, and I knew my abilities. I knew I didn't have the patience for it, nor the skill, nor the money. So let's keep it affordable. And using whatever I had, and if I didn't have it, I looked for bargains. I looked for compromises that I could afford, and that's how I ended up getting what I got. I went and got international white paint from the farm tractor store, Rule King, and I brush painted it, as you'll see in the videos. Again, I chose white. When I first started, had all these colors in mind: green, copper, red. I thought of all these colors in mind. And the more I thought over a period of about 2 or 3 months, I knew I wanted to put some lettering on the doors, some nice sign painting lettering. And I started to realize that all my color choices were probably going to clash, probably more than not going to clash with my lettering that I put on the door. So I decided to just go kind of a blank canvas, and I went with an off-white color, so that would help the signage colors to pop. And it also gave me the ability that if the truck gets scratched up, banged up, or whatever, I can easily go back to the farm store, buy another quart of paint, take a brush and touch it up and brush it on. I'm good with it. So the truck had a lot of surface rust on it when I got it. I mean, all the paint was almost completely gone. Again, as you'll see in the video, and it had a few little pits in it, and I knew there's no point in breaking my abilities trying to shine it out. Just brush some paint on it and be happy with it. So that's how I ended up with what I did. I did buy a few new parts, like the tailgate, because I knew I was going to struggle to find that. I put new spring bushings, frames, wheel spring bushings in it, new springs on the back. Done the work on the frame, new kingpins in it. So again, you'll see that in the video. But that's how I got to where I got. My goal was to build an affordable hot rod. A hot rod, first on the list, that was affordable, and that's second on the list, and within the means and reasons of what I could do, that I could enjoy it. And that's how I got what I got. Wasn't trying for any certain style. I did kind of want it kind of original-ish, and that's what I was kind of hoping that I would get original-ish. I use that term very loosely, and I'm pretty happy with it. I'm pretty happy with it. So anyway, I'm going to post a video and all the pictures that I've got of it up. It's quite a bit to follow, as if this hasn't been long enough explanation. But it's quite a bit to follow, and I wish I'd done better, but I had nobody else helping me, nobody to edit. So whatever you see is what I got, and that's just what I got. So anyway, I hope you enjoy the process. There may be a part 2, part 3, part 4 of this. I don't know, depending on how much I can get it all in one video. like on the first video. Peace out. Thanks a lot. Hot Rod here. Be an inspiration. That's what I hope to be, to try to get other people to get out in the shop and build something.
Here's what I appreciate places like this, like the guy right there buttering up all the bread and the toast. I mean, you know, just giving it his full attention and his best. That's what makes a place enjoyable, and you appreciate it. For all the people who want to pick on and belittle and dog places to eat, this makes me appreciate it right here.
Here we are in Oklahoma. I've never been to Oklahoma before, but for my taste, I think this is a good way to go. There's a certain sickness to this, you know. I'm sure you do. A lot of cool old parts. People consider junk, but they're still usable. Oklahoma. That's the reason God made Oklahoma. So you could go pick up parts and build something. Y'all get out there and build something, as Hot Rod Dad says. What a pile of stuff. It's amazing how much usable stuff is in there if you can dig it out. Piled to the rafters. This is your typical indication of hoarding and running a business while you hoard. Wow. So the way he knows what's his is there's numbers written on the window. See here it says 335. His bid number at the time when he was here was 303. So anything that's got 303 on it, he takes because he's already bidded on it. So he told me stuff's got 335, then we'll go to the crusher. It's a shame because there's good stuff that's, you know, people want and use. So that'll go to the crusher. That'll go to the crusher right there. That'll go to the crusher right there. 335 on the window. And there's decent stuff on it. That one will go to the crusher. And look, there's some good front end parts on it. Got nice patina on them. Really decent stuff. It's not rotten. It's just, you know, got a nice little surface. But anyway, see that one's 335. So that will go to the crusher as well. Right there. That will go to the crusher. 335. Thomas bought these for like, you know, they wouldn't sell for like $80, $75. They wouldn't sell. So the guy bought them for dirt cheap, like you know, $50 a piece, some of them, and he'll take them to the crusher. A lot of this stuff sold for really, really cheap, like, you know, 4 truck cabs in a row they had over there for $80 for all 4 of them. And all this junk, here's what I zone in on right here. This right here. So I grew up with these right here. They're dangerous as hell. Put a load on it right here, pops these welds off right here, the legs go, and down it goes and crushes you. Dangerous as hell. Don't ever use these. I've used them before. I got lucky. Don't ever use them. Junk. So right here, for example, they'd have all that row of truck cabs, and they would say, we'll sell all those truck cabs right there. You can take what you want, leave what you want, and we'll sell them all for like, say, $50 or $60 or $80. Most of these, Thomas told me, a row would sell for like $80 a row, maybe $60 a row. There was a row here. Then there was a row down here, right there. So my whole idea is I don't need another project, and that's the reason. I don't know, maybe I do, but I question the logic of loading myself down with another project. Just something else to do, whether it's a truck or whatever. I don't know, maybe it's something to keep my idle mind busy, and that may be a good thing. I really don't know. But anyway, for better or for worse, that's it. It got some issues, not too bad. You can see the firewall's good and solid. And that's not a dent, by the way. It's made that way. But I'm going to have to do something to address this little rusty patch right here. And so the seat sits on that riser right there. But other than that, the inside of the cab really isn't too bad. I mean, it's stripped down. It has nothing in it. But I got to put a dash in it, and I have a dash to put in it. And all these floor pans here bolt in, and I have all of that, and it's in really good shape. So I also have the running boards that go on the side of it here. I've got those. Believe it or not, at this point, I might use my trailer fenders on this truck. I don't know. And get something else for my trailer. I don't know. But, you know, here's the bed. Well, where the bed goes, I'm going to change the axle. I'm going to leave that axle, but I'm going to put disc brakes on the front because now it's a 6-lug wheel, and I'm going to change it all over to a 5-lug. Anyway, and I've got all these parts I've gathered: hood, running boards, front fenders. I've got all that. Grill, radiator support. Got a bunch of good stuff right there. Let's pan on over here. I got the bed sides right there, 2 of them there. These rails are for the wood floor in the bed. Got my transmission right underneath there. There's my transmission for it. Got that, the bell housing to go with it. The unique starter to fit that bell housing because it takes a unique starter. Anyway, got my doors here. I've worked on the door panels already. We got the doors, and they're pretty good and solid. They're not too bad. One door I'm gonna have to work on a little bit, but you can see it ain't too bad. Just to give you a quick look. The other door is over there, right there. Anyway, I don't know. Just gonna make a whole hot rod truck, an organic hot rod truck out of it that I can, actually drive it and use it, have a little fun with it. Anyway, probably I might, if it works out, put my old 9-inch Ford axle in it that came out of my 57, if it's the right length. I don't know. Anyway, there it is. I don't know. Maybe I did the right thing. I don't know. I've been thinking about paint colors, by the way. So this right here, I kind of like this. I've been in trouble of what I'm going to paint it color-wise. I don't know. I've got some ideas, but when I saw this, it really drove home what I needed to do. I like this green. I know every vehicle I got's got green on it. What's up with that? Green is not my favorite color, but it's all right. But it just seems to fit these vehicles. But I'm probably going to put an olive green on this right there, and it's got black on the bottom. I don't know if I'm going to do the black, or I thought about doing a rust red oxide, brownish reddish primer color, and then doing the black on the fenders and black on the front fender. I don't know. Don't want to get it too crazy. Don't know. Might do green, black, and do this little bump in a in that rust stripe right there. I don't know. You can see that little bump there. I don't know. Not going to be anything super fancy. Just going to be organic. I got to put windows in it. One of my biggest obstacles is finding a windshield for it here. Not the window part, but it's got a frame right here that goes around the perimeter, and it hinges out so you can get air flowing up underneath of it when you're driving inside the cab. Those boogers are, you can't find the used ones. They're all rotten, and you can't, and the ones who have them, they don't want to get rid of them, or they're high. They do make new ones, and they're high. They're about, the cheapest you can get one's like $400 or $500. And you get a stainless one for like $8. I'm not paying that. So I don't know what to do about that. I'll figure something. Anyway, I don't know. The logic of it, I'm still trying to wrap my head around. But the price is right. I don't know. I guess I'll give her a shot and see what I can make. I'm just trying to keep it on the cheap and fun. So what we have here is a 1939 Chevy truck, or at least a piece of one. So anyway, I want to show you something I'm tinkering with. So, you know, man, how do I even start saying this? Oh, I think this is the first time I'm publicly letting it be known that I've taken on another project that, I question the logic of it completely, but that's another story. So don't judge me too harshly. But nevertheless, here we are. So I want to show you something like the difference in how automobiles were made and how they are today. Well, everybody knows that today's automobiles don't have any grease joints or Zerk fittings than to grease any of the moving points. But let me show you then the difference. So I'm having to put solid bushings in here because I want a good safe ride, But let me show you then the difference here. Like, for example, here's the back, the bed, and there's a spring mount there, and one over here, one back there, and there. But we're going to talk about these two right here for now. So there's a pivot that goes through there, and that, you see this point right there? That's a Zerk fitting. It's where you put a grease gun, and you grease it up, and grease goes inside of that spring there, then to lubricate it, right? Okay, I've never seen that before. There's one there, and there's one right here that I've taken the grease fitting out of. I've never saw those before. Then this is something new to me. So anyway, but the front also has them right here and over there. It also has them up front. But again, we're going to talk about these right here. So I've already taken these out right here because they get worn. But it's not like there's ball bearings. It's metal on metal, and it needs lubrication often. So here's the bolt that came out of there. It screws in there and goes all the way through right there. Then to show you, there's the Zerk fitting on it right there where you put the grease gun. And you can see how much it's worn because that was on the bottom. In other words, if I can get it right, down like that on the bottom. So yeah, there we go. So you can see how much it's worn from that spring riding on it. That's why they need lubrication right there. And that's why I have a serious issue with today's auto manufacturers. As good as a vehicle as they make, in some ways, it's an engineering failure at times. Anyway, and so there's the other one out over there. And they sell these new to put these in. And when you grease that, grease goes up through the center of this bolt. And it comes out, I think that's it right there. It's plugged up out of that little hole right there. Comes out of that. And it puts grease to it so it doesn't wear it out like that. Or at least slows the process down. Anyway, lots to do on it. Lots to do. Let me just say, to sum it up, this is going to be a very organic build. I'm not going to overthink it. I just want something safe and drive straight. I'll make a little hot rod out of it, little small block Chevy, straight shift, like a T5 transmission. I'm going to put disc brakes on it, but I'm going to leave the straight axle in it. So I got my other parts, fenders and things, and hoods over there. Bedsides here. Going to put those wheels on the front. There's the doors to it right there. So anyway, I don't know. I know. You don't even have to tell me. What? You took on another project? The price was right. The opportunity, I don't know. It's a long, long story. Anyway. The struggles of fucking with an old vehicle, antique vehicle, 1939 Chevy, with worn out shackle bushings, worn the fuck out. And rivet holes that are wallered out from loose rivets that I'll have to repair. So it's supposed to be about the journey, right? But I'm trying to remind myself of that. Hey y'all, Hot Rod here, working on this 1939 Chevy truck. So give you an update of where we're at with it. So I've took the front suspension, all the springs apart down here, and put bushings in that. I'm still waiting on some other bushings so I can finish putting that together. I've got the front axle right here laying here. It's a straight, like it's called a straight axle. I've got it laying here. I've got to put kingpins in it. They go through here. So this is predates before ball joints. And modern day cars have ball joints. But these had kingpins. And I guess some of the big trucks still have kingpins. Anyway, but sometimes you got to replace those. So I'm waiting on those to come in so I can replace those. And these are the spindles that attach to those kingpins right here. So they got bushings inside of there, like a bronze kind of bearing, flat. It goes in there, it presses in both ends, and that's what holds them tight. So anyway, I'm waiting on those then to get in so I can put those back on, because the wheel mounts on right here. And I've got my disc brake kit, and that's what these are for. I talked about that in a previous video, to adapt the bearings, the modern day bearings to that spindle. So I've got my disc brake kit back here, right here to put on it. Also, I got, while I could get them, and they were a really good price in there. I think they're a really great quality product. I've got my stainless steel 304 headers to go on it for block huggers. They'll be right up here, to go right up there on the engine, because I got a tight space there to work in. So I got those. I was happy about that. Really good deal. I mean, they're like a third of the going price on the market. Anyway, so I'm kind of at a standstill with this front end parts and finishing it up. So a while back, I got the doors and started working on them. Here's one of them, and I made door panels for it. And I got to finish putting glass on the inside. I could buy the glass, but I opted to just buy a Lexan and make my own and cut my own out. So, and I'm putting the window felt in it. Let's see, where is that? Here it is. It's the window felt, then it goes in it. It's like a U channel. So it gives then that window a place to ride in smooth. It's got felty on the inside of it. So I got to put that in it. But before I do that, I want to kind of touch up on the paint right here. So that's kind of what I'm doing on the doors right now until I get my other stuff, is trying to finish up on them to get them ready to put on. So I got window felt to put in it, then I got door window cranks to put in it. I got the latches on it fixed a while back. So I'm just kind of prepping the top here. I'm going to put some paint on this right here around this before I glue that weather stripping in, so it doesn't get paint on the weather stripping. You know, I'm not trying to make it look perfect, but I'm trying to make it look not like a total train wreck. People love this patina. I kind of get it, you know, but the thing is, where I'm at with it is, I can't have that much patina. And what I mean by that is, people would probably have a fit if they're sanding that off, because it's patinaed and weathered so good. The problem is, all this brown right here is not paint, that's rust. I mean, the whole truck is so old that there just doesn't have any paint on some of it at all. And I can't have a rusty ass truck. Not that much. It'll just rot down. Hell, there's the fenders over there. That is no paint at all. That is total surface rust. So, now that one's got a little paint. But anyway. And same with the hood. The hood has no paint. That's complete rust. So anyway, I'm going to have to put some paint on it. I'm just going to brush it on. I remember years ago when I was a teenager, I laughed at people who brushed paint on their automobiles. I thought, what a fucking joke. Are you kidding me? I mean, put it on like you're supposed to. And here I am, fucking 30 plus years later. I'm going to brush it on. I'm not buying no expensive paint. I'm just going to buy, you know, like farm tractor paint, and I'm going to brush it on. You know. So anyway, it's just affordable and easy. So anyway, I got to finish up my front axle in a few days. I'm going to work on these doors right now so I can get them ready then to hang back on there. Eventually, pretty soon, I'm going to be starting on the rear axle. I think I'm going to put my Ford 9-inch axle that came out of my 57 Chevy, the one I changed out because I had bearing problems. I don't think I'll have bearing problems on this truck. So I'm going to put that in this truck. And by doing that, I will have changed it all from six bolt wheel pattern, like this right here. Takes 6 bolts to bolt it on, which is a bit unusual. And I'll change it over to the standard modern day 5-lug small Chevy pattern. And oh yeah, so a while back in the fall, I bought these at a flea market swap meet, and I just liked them, and I didn't know if I had a use for them, but it was a good deal, and I liked them. Well, lo and behold, here's my use for them. Those are going on the front of that. Those are 1935 Chevy spoke wheels, good shape, Kelsey Hayes wheels. Those are going on the front of that. And also, the other day, I remembered I was out at Owensboro at this little local trader barter place, and I remember about 2 or 3 years ago, they had some spoke wheels there that really caught my attention, but hell, I didn't have anything to put them on. And I remember that. I thought, I wonder if they still got those. I mean, you know, it's not like they have a huge market for people wanting them. So I went back the other day and checked, and sure enough, there they were, still there. And I think they were cheaper. They had been marked down. So I scored those right there. Now, those are 1935, 34, I think 1935 Ford wheels, spoke wheels. But who's going to know the difference? I'm going to repaint those. I'm going to repaint these. I'm not sure what color, although I got to admit, I do love that kind of rusty brown patina color. But I'm going to paint those and the other ones. And those are going on the back. I've got old school bias ply tires ordered for those. I've got tires coming for these, old school tires. So it's going to really have that vintagey look to it. So then I'm going to so after I do that, I'm going to work on getting the engine placed. I got to weld motor mounts in it and figure out where to put the engine block in it. I've got a T5 transmission right there, straight shift right there to go in it. And then after I do that, which is far down the road, I'm going to start on my bed. I've got my bed right here that I can put together. I need to start sanding this and painting this, kind of cleaning it up a little bit. Again, I'm not going for this wonderful paint job. I just want to get some paint on it so it doesn't sit there and rust out in the elements. I know it's going to look rough, so I'm going to put a paint job that equals the roughness. Probably, I'm not sure about the colors. I've been tossing around my mind. I really haven't come on anything I'm dead set in love with. But at this point, I'm thinking like a John Deere yellow on some of it. I'm going to use my old fenders, my old Model A fenders for the back, and they're black. I'm going to probably paint the fenders on the front black so it has a continuous line. I want a nice continuous paint line. The front fenders and the running boards and the back fenders, to me, should be the same color. So I think they're all going to be black. Probably going to put the rust primer, brownish color, from this point right here down. And from this point right here up, I'm probably going to do the yellow, the John Deere yellow. I don't know. We're going to see. But that's what I'm kind of thinking. I'm kind of thinking about doing the wheels kind of a international white. I don't, it's kind of like, it's kind of an off-white. I don't want a pure white at all. I'm not sure. I want something that stands out, but I don't want it to look like a damn clown car. So I'm not sure. I mean, that red looks good and it's intriguing. It may be a little bit loud for this. I don't know, but it could really work. I really don't know. But those are meant for another project. But still, it gives me a visual, you know. Anyway, but that's where I'm at with it. Post it. Then I'll post this and talk to y'all later about it. And we'll see where I am. But that's my project, and that's what I got laying ahead of me. It's a long road, but the thing about these trucks is they're simple. It's not overly complicated. It's just kind of simple. Oh, yeah, by the way, scored me an awesome leather seat right here out of 2000 Chevy Suburban. Believe it or not, it's the rear third seat. It fits almost perfect here as far as the width, because these trucks are not very big. Anyway, that's where I'm at with it. Progress down the road. See y'all later. Thanks a lot for watching. So this is a adjustable hand reamer. So you see these grooves in it down here. It's got those grooves all the way down that shaft. But let me zoom it in. You see how deep they are. As it goes up, those grooves get shallower and shallower. And these are the cutting edges right here. So what you do is you adjust this one up and that one up at the same time, and you effectively slide these blades from the bottom up to the top. And these adjustable reamers have a narrow window of measurement in which they will cut. So this one then will cut between 17 millimeters and 19 millimeters. So it only adjusts within that range. And yeah, those are tool steel cutting edges right there. And I'm warned, you never ever turn those backwards because you'll dull them. Hello everybody. So today I'm going to talk about disc brakes. I've been researching on the internet and I could not find a disc brake kit for a 1939 or 1940 Chevy pickup truck. And I found them on Speedway Motors for 1947 up to 59 Chevy truck. They say it won't fit a early one, like mine's a 39, but I think 39, maybe even 37 even is the same. But I know 39 up till 1946, they say it won't fit, but I feel like it would. So I ordered a disc brake kit from Speedway Motors for a 1947 through 59 Chevy truck. And here's what I've learned, because I couldn't find any information on this online, on YouTube, anywhere. So I'm going to share with you what I learned and discovered. Some preliminary things. So here's my spindle for my 1939 Chevy truck. The spacing, like the bolt spacing here and here and here, is the same on like all of them. So that's not the problem. The problem is this bearing on the inner bearing on the inside. And here it is right here. This spindle on the early ones are smaller right here than it is on the late ones. But even with the late model ones, they still have to make a bearing adapter right here. And I wondered how this was made. It's just a thick piece of metal here, and it's thin here. And what it does is it slides on here, and it creates a bigger journal here so that your seal has something to ride on there. So it'll actually seal it off. And the bearing here will set on this journal right here. So it makes this journal just a little bit bigger, enough to compensate for this bearing. Now the outer bearing is the same on the early ones, like the 39 up to 46. The outer bearing is the same as the ones from 47 up to 59. The problem is this inner bearing. So what I discovered and thought about doing, and again, I'm not telling you to do this. I'm simply giving you some inspiration. Maybe you can figure out your own thing. So what I did was I thought about it, and I went and bought a simple copper water pipe, a coupler for a 1-inch pipe. It's as close as I could get to start with. So my idea is to put a sleeve on this right here, like a spacer, so that when this spacer slides on, we'll have something tight. Okay, because right now it doesn't. It's loose and it's, it doesn't need much. So I took this coupler and I took and I sanded mine down, but if you'd be better off if you chucked it up in a lathe and then turned it down and took some meat off of it right off. How much? I don't know, maybe 15 thousandths. Anyway, then what I will do is I will put some heat on this right here, on this copper, and I will take a washer, a steel washer, put on here, and a block of wood, then go around this and take a hammer and drive that down on there. It'll spread this copper out, and it will slide right down on there and fit it really good and tight. Then I will cut it off here, somewhere along here, so it comes out to about here. I've already done it on one, and it worked. It's a bit of a challenge getting that drove over and getting it spread out on there. You got to make sure that your spindle is smooth so it doesn't catch on a hump. So anyway, the other thing that you can do is I also thought about trying these pecs. I'm just looking for something then to take that space up. Wouldn't mind have steel, but that was a challenge. The copper was the closest I could get. And I got these pecs, like pipe crimper connectors for 1-inch pipe. And if you want to try this, you could. I got these at Menards, and you could try these. They are pretty narrow, but you can put multiples on them and slide those on there and then drive them down. My reason why I chose not to use these was these are softer than these are. And I felt like I was pushing my luck using copper to begin with. But this is a hard copper, so I think it'll live pretty good. These might, I don't know, but it's just an idea. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is going to take this sleeve here, just simple 1-inch pipe coupler, and I'm going to drive it on there and create like a bushing for this bushing then to slide over, so it's snug. So anyway, that's what we're going to do, and we're going to put disc brakes from Speedway Motors, made for 1947 through 59 Chevy, onto my 1939 Chevy, and we're going to do what they say can't be done, because we are eastbound and down. Catch y'all later. I'll let you know the results. So again, there's my truck, and there's my spindle right there. So there it is with it pressed on there. And I just used the whole collar. I didn't cut it off at all. So the way I got it on there was, obviously I took and chamfered the inside of this right here to round it. So when it slipped over, it would slide over it instead of that edge catching on everything. And so anyway, I got it started. Put it down on here like so. I needed something flat that would keep from damaging that edge. So I took a washer and then I drilled it out with a step bit and then laid it on there so it would seat on that bottom of that pipe all the way. And then I just used my old inner race because I'm not going to use it anymore for anything else. And I thought it was a great heavy spacer tool thing. And I took and laid it up on here like that. Okay. And then I took one of my sockets, found a socket here that was about 1.25 inches, and laid it up on there like that. So give me a hollow space right in here for that shaft into going through. Took my hammer, waylaid it down. After it got so deep, then I had to put another socket or something on the top of that because the shaft started to come through here. And when I got done, that right there is what I had. when I got it down on there, as you can see there. So when you take it off, you understand why you need something, because it protrudes up. Be very careful to not damage these threads, or else I'll have to straighten them up. Anyway, but you can see using these spacers, and then I pull that off, and then I'm down to the washer, and I pull that off, and there we are. So now, here's my bearing adapter. You slide it over here, and it just goes on there with no movement. And when I started, these right here, there was like 125 on the outside, 125. We're using my calipers. Well, actually closer to 130, 132 when I started on it. Okay, I didn't take out anything out of the inside. I just left it the way it was. Then I took and sanded this off, and until I got down till it was about 115. Till it was about 115. I sanded enough off. Don't take any more than that off. I mean, that would be overall. So I took roughly 15 thousandths off overall. Don't take any more than that off. And then when I drove it down on there, I had just about the right fit. And that will fix my problem, I think. Also, here's something else that I did too. I needed to change all the bushings in the springs, the front and the back springs as well. So you can buy the rubber inserts if you can find them. They're not real easy, but you can. But what I discovered is they sell most of them for a 3/4 eyelet, and mine is 7/8 if you take that bushing out of there. So, and then also in the original shackles, they had them where they press in. It's a weird setup. So I opted, you can buy the shackles. I opted to just use what I got. And the holes were kind of chewed up. So I drilled them out until 5/8 went through there. Like I got a 5/8 bolt here at one of the local farm stores at Rural King. And it fits right in there with absolutely no slop whatsoever. So that fits it pretty good. And it tightens that hole up. And still, it leaves me with enough meat left around it that I don't feel like I have weakened it too awfully bad. So, as opposed to using the rubber bushing, what I decided to do was use these Oilite. And then I got these from McMaster Car. Got these from McMaster Car. And you can look up on there. And I got a 7/8 OD and a 5/8 ID because it was a bit cheaper. Depending on what bushing you get can drastically affect the price. So I got them 2 inches wide. I will press them in there and then cut off what I don't need. But works really, really well. Fits right in there. It's a nice snug fit. And since it's Oilite, it'll stay lubricated for quite a long time. I think they'll hold up pretty good. Here's one I've already put in the front. My rivets, so this goes in the front here, and my rivets were loose, so I'm going to have to fix that, and so I had to cut the rivets off. But as you can see, I've already got a bushing pressed in there, one of those. So I just have to cut this end off, and I'll be ready to put that bolt through there. Swing those up and put that bolt through there, and I'll be good to go. And also for the bushings in the back of the spring, on the front end here, we're on the front of it. On the back of the spring, and the same size is on the front of the back spring there. I got a different size for that. I think it's 11/16 bolt, and I can't remember the outside dimension. I think it is also 7/8. Yes, 7/8. but it's 11/16 on the center. So they will go right there where that is. And again, McMaster car for these as well. So I'm well underway. I know it's a rough video, and I know I didn't show you everything, but maybe you'll at least get some idea and some inspiration. And another thing, I'm going to put power steering on this, and I'll do a video on that later. But I got the, I think it's called the 730 series box. But the main thing is that the mounting points for the frame, like right here, is on the steering sector side. Most of the mounting points are on this other side over here. But I'll do a video about that later. But that's just a steering box off of like a 68 through 86 General Motors truck, because they mounted those on the outside of the frame, and the steering box on here was in there. It's going to be right in the way of my exhaust header, so I need to get it out of there. And I decided and found out that I can actually mount the box right up in here on the side, and it'll be out of the way, and I just have to run my steering shaft up there and slightly change my linkage down here. But I'll do a video about that later. But I just want to tell you, there's a solution for power steering as well. Peace out, y'all. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope I gave you some kind of inspiration at least. I guess that makes it a 39 truck, because I don't know if 40 had those. Maybe it did. Maybe 39 and 40 had these, but after 41, they didn't have these, and the frame came on up here, I think. But I don't know. If y'all can tell me, if anybody watching this, now my question is, does 1940 truck have these pieces right here? Do they have those, or is it just the steel frame? Let me know about that, because I think mine's a 1939. I was a little bit reluctant about having these adapters on here, because the way they work is this adapter bolts to the regular rotor hub, and then it's got a smaller pattern here for those Chevy wheels. It's a 4 1/4 pattern there, whereas normal small Chevy modern is 4 3/4. So you got to have these adapters. I was reluctant about that because I wasn't sure how strong that they were. Plus, I was concerned it was going to push me out. That's a solid 1 1/4. It's going to push me out further, and but I thought with these narrow tires would probably be okay. But let me show you what I discovered when I bolted the other side on. Look at this. Without that adapter there, look at this. The brake rotor, or the brake right here. Damn it, I can't get a good shot. Here. The brake caliper, how close it is to the wheel there, that's less than that spacer. So if it wasn't for that spacer, it would have rubbed right there. So, or for those adapters, it would have rubbed right there. So there's my answer to my question. Anyway, typically people don't run disc brakes with the older wheels. It's like a look. They're going for a look. And the disc brakes don't really convey that. They use the old school finned drum brakes, but tough shit. I'm not going with that route. Anyway, I was a little bit reluctant about having these adapters on here, because the way they work is this adapter bolts to the regular rotor hub, and then it's got a smaller pattern here for those Chevy wheels. It's a 4 1/4 pattern there, whereas normal small Chevy modern is 4 3/4. So you got to have these adapters. I was reluctant about that because I wasn't sure how strong that they were. Plus, I was concerned it was going to push me out. That's a solid 1.25 inches. It's going to push me out further. And but I thought with these narrow tires would probably be okay. But let me show you what I discovered when I bolted the other side on. Look at this. Without that adapter there, look at this. The brake rotor, or the brake right here. Damn it, I can't get a good shot. Here. The brake caliper, how close it is to the wheel there, that's less than that spacer. So if it wasn't for that spacer, it would have rubbed right there. So, or for those adapters, it would have rubbed right there. So there's my answer to my question. Anyway, typically people don't run disc brakes with the older wheels. It's like a look. They're going for a look. And the disc brakes don't really convey that. They use the old school finned drum brakes, but tough shit. I'm not going with that route. Anyway. Well, there we be. Bearings on, brakes on. There we be. I'm happy. I'm done. So here's what I've done so far. So I know that this looks like a table because I've been using it as a table. But finally got it back on the ground. I had these leaf springs here. I had those completely apart. Every leaf separated. Put some grease between them because they were collecting some rust. Put the bushing right in there. A new bushing and a new bolt in there. Same thing up front here. New bushings. New bolts. Got that lubed up good. It's good and tight because that was loose. I got kingpin bushings in it here. New ones. Both sides. Brand new. So it's good and tight on the steering because it doesn't use ball joints because it's old technology. Got the disc brakes on it here. Got my wheels bolted on. Took all that apart and greased all that up. Put it back together. It was cankered up. It's not cankered up now. Same way over there. Same thing. And here's the driver's side. And here's what's upcoming. So I've got the steering rod. I straightened it because it was bent. I straightened it. Took the connections off of it right there. Cleaned them up. Lubed them up. Put it back together. It's good. It was cankered up. Almost couldn't even get it undone. Now it turns easy and freely. So the steering box originally went right here. And it came out the side and there was a lever that it hung down. And it did right here. And it hooked to this right here. And it would push the wheel and turn it. But I'm not going to put that on there. I'm going to retrofit a power steering box on it, which will be moved closer up to here on the side of the frame here. And there will be a link going down from here down to that. So it'll steer it and put modern power steering on it. Anyway, again, bushing replacement, both of them. Bushing replacement, that too. Kingpin replacement down in there. Good to go. Disc brake kit on it. Everything tight, new bolts, everything good. So this is a 39 Chevy, and according to Speedway, these brake kits do not fit a 39. But they do after like when I hot rod them, do my thing on them. The problem is the inner bearing, but I was able to fix that and modify that and make it work. Long story short. So anyway, there we are. It's coming along, a little at a time. Next thing I'm going to do is go to the back, change the rear axle out on the back. That axle right there is going in there. So I've got to set it up, set a gear up for it, get it installed, a bushing change there, leaf springs out of it. That's a pretty big job, about like the front right here was. So anyway, that's the next thing to do. It's so cool. Because it now actually rolls again. So awesome. Well, some of y'all been asking, so I thought I'd do this video quickly to kind of briefly tell you where I'm at, what I got on my mind. So as you can see, I got my wheels mounted and my axle put back in it. And also, I got my back wheels mounted. I got all 4 of them painted, got them mounted, got tires on them. Awesome. So glad to see that. Scored those at cheap at a secondhand shop, $25 each, $50 for the pair. I thought that's a good deal. Those are Ford wheels, 1935. These are 1935 Chevy wheels. Anyway, bought those at Redneck Rumble last fall. Had no clue I was going to get this truck. Perfect fit for it. Got the tires on there. Anyway, so here's where I'm at with it. I've got the axle installed. I put new bushings in here, both sides. New bushings in the back there. New bushing back there, right there. Took the leaf springs apart, kind of cleaned them up, put grease between the leaves. Added some wedge in it there. If you can see the wedge there. It's supposed to have like 4 degrees, and I put 6 in it. And you may ask why you do that. Well, it tips the back of the, it tips the axle back and makes it drive a little straighter and more stable. I put new kingpins in it here. So those are tight. That's like the hinge where it pivots. So those are good and tight, so it'll stay lined up. As you can see, got my disc brake kit on it. Happy about that. So yeah, so those wedges right there, you can see the silver things on the bottom. So what it does is, like I said, it takes that axle and those kingpins, they're like this, and it lays the center line of them back. It just kind of lays them back. Like here would be straight up and down, but you want it laid back, and they call that caster. You want it laid back a little bit. It helps stability of it driving better. So I added a few degrees in that, so that'll help that. Also got my steering linkage right here. Goes here, goes all the way across there. I got that cleaned up. That was cankered up, rusty. Got those apart. It cleaned those out where those little ball joints go in there. Got the goggles cleaned out. Got them adjusted good and tight. Everything feels good about it. Started to put my shock mount kit on because it had the old school shocks where they bolt on here and they just kind of go up and down. I'm going to put modern shocks on it. Like these right here. Modern shocks. And so I've got the mount installed right down there. And then the shock then will sit here, and then it will have a mount that will fit on the side up here. That mount is right here. So anyway, so the deal is the shocks lay on a bit of an angle, and that's how they're supposed to do. However, I'm laying mine toward the back. The original kit is really meant for them to lay forward. I don't think it's going to hurt laying them back in the back direction. The reason why I'm doing that because I'm putting a power steering box right here. Originally, the power steering box came through this hole right here, and it had a lever hang down and swing back and forth, and it would push on this right here, and that would turn your wheels, right? But I don't have that box. I don't want that box. I'm going to put a power steering box out here out of a mid-70s Chevy, and it mounts on, and it connects with the link to that right there. So that will be my new steering arm right there. So anyway, let's see. My next thing is I kind of need to get my engine mount put in here. I've got a kit to weld in here or bolt in here for the engine mount and transmission mount. But also in here, I've got brake pedals that I need to install, brake and clutch pedals. Going to use these right here where they go in the floor, clutch and brake. I want a hydraulic clutch so it doesn't work my feet. I got my headers for it, for the engine, stainless headers. I got that. Engine mount stuff right there. The engine mount stuff right there. I did get the doors on it, and that looks funny, but it's just a film. I use Lexan instead of real glass. So I got the doors on it. So got me a third row Suburban seat to put in here. Boy, it fits it really good. So scored that for about $100. That was a bargain. Anyway, there's my door panels that I made. Pretty happy about all that. Looks good. And the windows roll up and down good. So that's good. Got my power steering box there. My bell housing there. My T5 transmission I'm putting in right there, 5-speed. Starter. Got my bed up here. All my bed sides are up here. So when I get some of this other done, I'll break into the bed and start putting it on. Radiator support. You know. Got my fenders and running boards and hoods and things over here later on to put those on. You know, I like the patina thing, and I would leave it. But the problem is I got no paint at all on this. Absolutely none. So what is patina without paint? Fucking rust. So I'm painting all this. I've decided I'm going to go international white on it because I think it'll help pop with my red primary copper wheels here. And then the white it's like an off-white. It's not pure white. It'll allow me to do some cartooning and pinstriping. You know, kind of maybe door signage on the side, make it look kind of cool. But that white will help those colors pop. Anyway, like I said, international white, so it's kind of a off-white. But anyway, that's my goal, is to get the engine mounts in it pretty soon. And then shortly after that, and then the brake pedal assembly. And shortly after that, I'm going to install my Ford 9-inch axle right there in the back of it there. Boy, I just love these wheels. Just love. Boy, they turned out really, really good. Turned out really good. Anyway, thanks y'all for checking it out and taking an interest. 1939 Chevy truck. I didn't plan on this. It just kind of happened. I don't know. Whatever. Thanks a lot.